Robert the Monster Among Marks Drap here, back again with my good friend and tag team partner, the heavy metal hippie, Sierra. How you doing today?
Doing good, doing good, doing good. Kind of excited to see what these results are for our predictions because I know for a fact I did incredible in one of them.
Yeah. Okay, we are talking about NXT TakeOver War Games 2 and Survivor Series. Now, both of these contests coming to us from Los Angeles and the Staples Center. First, we start out. I actually started watching. I didn't watch like the pre-show for NXT TakeOver War Games because heck that, I had shit to do. I wanted to get to the good stuff. So we opened the show and motherfucking Matt Riddle comes down.
Bro,
Yeah, very
I'm not technically scheduled to have a takeover match, but let's not wait till Wednesday.
Yeah. And
I basically just said his entire promo.
yeah, basically calling out Cassius Ohno to come out there and have a fight. Cassius Ohno comes out and says he's gonna knock out Ohno. He's gonna knock out Riddle. It took us longer to say all of that than this match lasted.
Matt Riddle posted the entire match on his Instagram story.
I mean, hell, it could have been a Snapchat. Just bam. Okay, Matt.
Kind of disappointed.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Matt Riddle. For those of you who didn't know, former MMA fighter. The bell rings. He fucking rings Cassius Ohno's bell with a running knee lift, a la Daniel Bryan-esque, and gets the 1, 2, 3. This match, like I said, didn't even go 30 seconds.
I mean, yeah.
You had something to say about
So
this
from
match.
from bell start to bell end, it was what?
Please continue.
No, as you were saying, this match didn't even last 30 seconds long. From bell start to bell end, it was only 7 seconds long. It's a little disappointing because this is Matt Riddle's takeover debut.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping to see a little bit more versus them treating Cassius Ohno like Victor of the Ascension.
I mean, we're gonna get there.
But hopefully we'll see him on Wednesday then, since he's still scheduled to have a match on Wednesday.
God, what I wanted out of this match was I actually wanted some decent competition between these two. A hard-fought victory by Matt Riddle would have, in my eyes, legitimized him. Now it just makes me think they're victimizing Cassius Ohno to put him over for the other newer talents.
Well, you say that, but Cassius Ohno has always kind of had the Dolph Ziggler mentality with helping get the other people over. That's why he is the first person a lot of these people come in and feud with. Talk to me when you start feuding with Punishment Martinez, Cassius.
Yeah. That said, we get one of the... Wow, this match... The next match on the card, if I'm not mistaken, is the 2 out of 3 falls match. Shayna Baszler... No, fuck it. I'm going to call it as it is. Shayna Baszler, what's her goddamn name? And Maria Shafiro versus...
Jessamine
Duke,
and
Maria Shafiro, and Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane for like 5 minutes before Dakota Kai and Mia Yim come in.
You've complained about this before already. You've already mentioned that it's not a complaint that you've had, but you've already mentioned that you didn't want to see it go that route.
I didn't.
Unfortunately, I think they're trying to set up for this 4 horsewoman thing. And also it sets them up for these 6-woman tag matches we're going to be getting shortly due to other interference in this match.
I very much feel like we should be seeing our dear friend William Regal putting up, oh, well, you thought you won that match, but you did not win that match because of interference, and therefore you get another go, kind of thing, and then set up for the next takeover.
You say that, but you say that, and you also have to take into account that, yes, Shafir and Jessamine Duke did interfere, but Dakota Kai and Io Shirai also came out to help even the odds for Kairi.
By attacking Maria Shafiro and Jessamine Duke. There's did no not O attack
at the end of that name.
Maria Shafir. They did not attack Shayna Baszler, though. That's the thing. That's the argument right there is, yes, they did come out. They did not attack any of the combatants in the match because they're baby faces, and therefore didn't step over the line. Whereas,
so
Manduke
with the
and
interference
Shafir
that
did.
was originally, go ahead.
That's all I had to say.
And speaking of the interference, the fact that the interference bit was made known so early in the match, I don't want to say you knew, but I got the sense that this match wouldn't be so much about the wrestling, but more surrounding to the story. And that's what we got eventually with the addition of Dakota and Io, evening out the odds for Kairi. Just a quick little point to Io, that moonsault she did was beautiful.
Charlotte should take notes.
Charlotte would be envious.
Yeah. She fucking nailed a picture-perfect moonsault from the top rope. I mean, I love her rope work. I really do.
But for the match, I mean, this match was a lot about the storytelling because of the interference. But as for the match, it was still a solid match. Honestly, I'm just didn't get more time. I'm not upset about the interferences because, again, it leads into another storyline. But it was 2 out of 3 falls that only lasted for a little over 10 minutes.
It did feel like a little longer, though. I will give it that. It did have a bigger feel than the confines of time.
But despite that the match wasn't very long, Kairi and Shayna now know each other so well. This is their 5th match that they could wrestle a watchable match in their sleep. I actually thought that the ending was pretty clever because you would think Kairi would have the advantage now that the playing field's been even with Dakota and Io being added into the mix, only for Shayna to slither in and escape with that title.
Yeah.
This is not the best encounter that they've had, but this is still a good encounter. I wish it had gotten maybe 5-10 more minutes.
Yeah. A little while longer would have been nice, but Shayna Baszler wins in 3 falls. Next we had...
Up next we have the identity crisis of Johnny Gargano.
Hang on, I'm going to put up something. I didn't get to put this on the overlay, but I wanted to put this up because it was so beautiful. Hang on, I gotta name it here. And I gotta go get it. But let's talk about Johnny Wrestling's...
You remember while you're doing that, you remember...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Johnny Wrestling...
So while you're doing that, let's transitions.
Go for it. The timing
I was
on
gonna
it,
throw
you
some
can't
shots,
hear
but
me.
you just shut me up.
You can't hear me at the minute that I'm saying it. That's the problem. But please continue. I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, so I mean, the story coming into this match, let's just paint the picture here. The promo work that they did for the beginning of the promos that they do to build the story But the big story coming into this match is that Johnny, although he's in the middle of a heel turn, still believes in the story that he has written going into that quote-unquote identity crisis I said. While Aleister Black, in storyline terms, was
looking for his
shit.
vengeance.
Lost train of thought. Okay, Johnny Gargano's having an identity crisis. Aleister Black, in storyline terms, was taken out by Johnny just so Johnny could get Tommaso Ciampa for himself. That in itself is going to set the stage for an intense match.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then to add gas to the fire here, fucking Black comes out looking like this. Oh my god. This picture that I have from TakeOver with all the horns and teeth and scales on not just his jacket, because that's the first thing I noticed, and anybody would, is all of this.
On his kick pad.
Yeah, and on his kick pad he had spines. And I was like, on his boot there was spines. On his knee pad there was spines. I was like, oh, holy shit, he's really going with the devil here. Let's go. Let's see this.
Well, he's always had that. He's always had that type of look with the whole devil on his back. And if you didn't catch it, the symbol on his trunks on the butt, that was actually a chaotic demon seal.
Yeah, I did not know that.
We're not going to talk about how I know that.
Hey, study of the occult is not unusual. Ask Lovecraft. Anyway,
moving on.
Yeah, let's move into this match of the goddamn year.
Go.
We had two solid match of the year contenders in this takeover. I'm calling it. If it's not Dream and Ciampa, it's gonna be Black and Gargano.
No, I've got Ciampa and Gargano as one of my contenders for sure. I gave that one an A. But so fudge.
I mean, it's not that it was a bad match or anything like that. I just feel like the emotions.
No, doggone amazing.
No. I'm talking about your Gargano Ciampa. I'm saying that the emotions in this one, and especially the way that Johnny played it, was so different than anything he's ever done, and going the direction he did, for me, really puts it over the line.
And so you just mentioned that Johnny, it seemed like he was a completely different person in the ring. I feel that Johnny, when he works at his best when he is forced to work with someone that is at a level of physicality that is technically above his, that he has to overcome. And that's why, in my opinion, people like Tommaso Ciampa and Aleister Black are the perfect opponents for Gargano. I am still salty we never got that triple threat match.
I believe the words you meant to say there were haven't yet gotten that triple threat match.
What?
I believe the words.
Oh, you missed half of what I said.
No, I didn't. You said that Gargano works best against people who have a technical and physical level that are or should be above what he possesses. Like Gargano versus Ciampa and Gargano versus Black. These were both amazing matches because he was forced to do better. And in my mind, you said you're salty because we haven't gotten that triple threat. I said we haven't gotten it yet. It's coming. If it doesn't come at the takeover for Rumble, I will be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, it's just I think my only issue with this match is that for as hard hitting as those hits were,
yeah,
there wasn't a lot of selling in this match. I mean, there was selling, but it wasn't to a level of selling you would think after taking 2 spinning heel kicks, after taking the spinning knee, after taking everything Gargano threw at Black. I
No, I
think
mean you're right. This
head real quick while
I was gonna say the thought that crossed my mind was this: the match between Gargano and Ciampa at both takeovers, where it was extreme stipulation, felt more weighty because everything they did, it took so much just to get back into it. And I almost want to credit uh, the pair for playing it the way they did, because while yeah, it didn't sell as well, and they should have. I agree. In a sense, they almost shouldn't have, because when you look at the other side of that coin, they're in a regular match. These guys aren't going to the absolute ends of the earth trying to destroy one another at like Ciampa and Gargano did in the previous 2 takeovers. So it could be that maybe that's why it wasn't feeling as impactful. We didn't get all the bells and whistles we did before. But still, they should have been selling it more.
saying the match. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. Because this was, again, it was a very impactful match. I just, for his, I'm not going to repeat myself because we're going to get stuck on that tangent. But let's go ahead and move on further, because I think my favorite spot of this match was actually when Gargano locked in the Gargano escape and then just started screaming that he's the hero.
Yeah.
And then we had all these other amazing interactions between the two of them. So, example 1, Alistair daring Johnny to give him his best shot now that he wasn't doing it behind his back. And then telling Alistair to finish him,
Yeah.
only for him to try to
roll
turn it around and get the pin there.
Yeah.
It's not my match of the night. It's definitely a match of the year contender, because again, this was very well done, clever, awesome match. I was awestruck at how well timed a lot of these sequences and strikes were. The spots where Johnny and Alistair really got to show some vulnerability, and only for them to show that vulnerability in order to outwit each other.
Yeah. I especially liked the ending.
It's a damn good match.
The ending where Gargano is being held up by Black's chest, basically. And he sets him up, holding him in his hand. And he's like, I absolve you of your sins. And gives him another black mass. And then 1, 2, 3. It's like, okay, I got what I wanted out of this. You have received your punishment. Go. It was beautiful.
Ooh, can we move on to the next match?
Do I have to?
I gave this 5 stars.
I didn't say it was a bad match. I fucking loved this match. It was one of the greatest it was the greatest match of the evening. And if it does not make match of the year for me, I will be very surprised.
You're going to have to eat your hat if it doesn't make match of the year.
I'm not eating my hat. I know where that thing's been.
Look, so just first of all, before we get into this match, I wish Dusty Rhodes could see just how much the Velveteen Dream has evolved and transformed. Because if you compare him to his time as a footnote on Tough Enough, the Velveteen Dream has improved leaps and bounds. The guy's got charisma. He's got the ability to storytell in the ring. His work in the ring is incredible for someone his age. He's younger than the both of us.
Yep.
And he works at a level that you don't see even some of the veterans doing.
Yeah, he is just how they could not make him champion right now is beyond me, to be honest, because I feel like he should
and
be.
like, I mean, if you want an example of how over the Velveteen Dream is, just replay the moment where everyone thought Dream was going to win the title. Right after he hit that, oh,
He hit the
was it
purple.
him?
He hit the purple rainmaker.
He hit the, but before that, he hit the Death Valley Driver on that exposed surface that Ciampa had
Yeah,
previously ripped up.
and then just slung him in the ring. Tried to get it, and no, it was like, ah.
Look, had that ended in a 3 count, the Staples Center would have needed a new roof.
Oh yeah, and for Ciampa to continue, here's the thing. We have a big question mark here, because essentially, whilst not as typically pretty or brutal as one might expect from this kind of match, kind of term to be, I very much want to consider Black Gargano a blow-off match, because they got what they wanted. There's a definitive end. Now, yeah, there are those that are going to say, no, this is not the end, and I'm one of them, because I know WWE. They're going to keep going with this because it's on fire, and I wouldn't be opposed. But that then leads me to the question: are we going to keep seeing Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa? Because if so, hell yes, more please.
We're going to continue to see Velveteen Dream chasing that championship for a while. I would love to see Velveteen take the championship prior to him going to main roster. But this guy is, again, so over that he does not need a title belt. Before I move into Ciampa, I want to just quickly highlight the fact that, one, Velveteen coming out with the Hulk Hogan New World Order cosplay gimmick was really cool. And then to see him transition into the Ric Flair / Bret Hart figure 4 leg locks, literally utilizing every legendary move he has in his arsenal.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
Now I want to talk about how dastardly Ciampa is.
Oh God, yeah. I still can't believe
Ciampa is literally the most.
Yeah, can't believe how dastardly
Go
he
ahead.
is. Every trick in the book you can think of, he tried it.
I mean, Ciampa is the world's best asshole.
Yep.
That's all I can think about. I mean, after he threw Velveteen Dream into the ring announcer's desk, you hear Mauro Ronaldo talking about Ciampa, and you can tell Ciampa doesn't like what he's hearing because he starts throwing stuff at Mauro.
And everybody fucking just instantly wanted to climb the barricades to choke Ciampa alive, and I am on board with that. The husband gave me my anniversary gift because the kitten got a hold of it. Anyway, please continue.
Just to see the two of these guys start this match out taunting each other in order to try to get a psychological advantage over the other, because how do you get the psychological advantage over Ciampa or Dream? The only person who's been able to get a psychological advantage over Dream is Black. And Black then still caved to the Dream's demands by saying his name. Yeah, we haven't really gotten to see. We did get to see Ciampa, but we didn't get to see Black really get the psychological advantage because Ciampa won the belt.
My point on that is
these two are so amazing in the ring.
Dream eventually did end up getting the psychological advantage. All he had to do was go grab the title belt.
I was just getting to that.
Yep.
Because at first, Dream lost his Hollywood headband.
Yep.
And that's when he grabbed the belt the first time. And then later on in the match, Ciampa grabs the belt, and it looks like he's going to try to leave or use the belt as a weapon. Don't know why you would use Goldie as a weapon, Ciampa, because doesn't make sense. You don't want any harm to come to your belt. But to see this storyline just start to this whole storyline has evolved around the belt, not the competitors. This is all about Dream wanting the spotlight, Dream wanting the belt, and Ciampa not wanting to let go of Goldie. I mean, the reactions Ciampa has to all of Dream's kickouts are phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
The same applies to when Ciampa kicked out of the DDT to the title belt.
Yeah, that was another thing. It was like he managed to get it and get it in. And the ref, I don't know if the ref saw it, but I'm pretty sure he did. Because of the way it was positioned. It was like you couldn't have not seen it. And again, this match was a heart stopper from start to finish. I don't even think I could describe more than the finish and well, hell, how it ended, not the finish, because I don't want to do any disservice to it. I just want you to go.
I mean, it was a clever finish. I'll give you that. I mean, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't want to talk anymore about like, okay, this is what happened in the match, this is what happened in the match, this is what happened in the match, because it would just be me wanting to recite the whole match, and I want people to watch it. But
I'm not trying to recite any of this match.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get away from my play-by-play notes. But if I have one last thing to say about this match, dealing with the finish, what about this finish is that it's not so much that Ciampa won the match, it's that he escaped. He took advantage of the Dream being overzealous and used that to his advantage. Can you imagine what would happen if Dream had hit that elbow on the apron?
Oh my God. Yeah, no, that would have been.
It's just another clever finish. And I am very particular about handing out my A's and my 5 stars, but I can't think of a bad reason not to give them this A plus, this 5 stars, because I was thoroughly entertained.
Absolutely. This was start to finish a beautiful roller coaster that even when I was done watching it was like, I want to watch it again. Hell, I might watch it again after this stream. Just go back and watch it again. I don't have to be at work tomorrow. I could watch it again.
I look for you.
Yeah, well, I got Black Friday coming up. Don't feel too good for me.
Now let's move on to arguably the idea of the War Games is amazing. I love the idea, but it's a very long match. If you think about how long the first War Games was.
Yeah, I have a very big problem with the rules in the time setting. I think it should be to help punch it up, to help make, because there were times in this match where while the in-ring action was fine, it drug out. It felt too slow, too sluggish.
It was. And the issue is, this is the second time we've done a War Games match as of late. And before that, when was the last time we'd had a War Games match? I think it was probably like mid-90s, probably around the time I was born. We're not going to get into that. But, I mean, because this was almost a 50-minute match. And the actual War Game match didn't start until Pete Dunne made it into the ring. And by that time, Ricochet had been demolished. Hanson was gasping for breath. Rowe was getting demolished by chairs. Not only that, but hold up, Bobby Fish with the ingenious idea to lock Pete Dunne into his Sharkade with Undisputed Era's lock. That was incredible. Good on them. I loved all the premeditated stuff that Undisputed Era had. Mm-hmm. And then you could also see that although the War Raiders, Roderick Strong, and Pete Dunne were teaming up to take out Undisputed Era. They didn't have a game plan, strictly on the fact that Dunne kept trying to get out of the cage every freaking time.
Yeah, and I almost feel like they should have discussed it beforehand. It's like, yeah, you want to lead with something strong, but you want to finish even stronger. So why not have the guy who's held a title belt longer than anybody in the business come out last? Somebody who you know has that power. You want to finish with that. That's your closer. And how he didn't understand that the first time.
You say that, and then I think yeah, they didn't mention anything like that in the first War Games that they redid with AOP, Sanity, and Undisputed Era. I think because it's the second time it's around, they started talking to the legends who had been doing the War Games. Example, Arn Anderson, all of the Four Horsemen, Dusty Rhodes, Gold Dust has been in a couple of those matches. But I think I did say it seemed like War Raiders and Ricochet and Dunne didn't have a plan going in, but we also have to take into account that Pete Dunne was pulled from shows because of a broken bone, I think they said in his foot.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to pull him from shows and make him work a limited amount of time just so he wouldn't have to relinquish the title, although he hasn't done the 1 month defense like most of the champions. But that's beyond the point because he's an amazing champion.
I was going to say, the rule book says it should be once a month, but it's not.
Okay, Brock Lesnar didn't have to do that.
Yeah, well, we're getting there.
We're not really getting there, but he was impressive last night. I'll give him that. That's what he should be doing.
Yeah. Well,
I enjoyed this match. The only issue is that all of the spots were amazing. When Dunne was finally able to get out of the sharp cage, just 2 trash cans, 2 tables, 2 kendo sticks, and then we still had the 4 Undisputed Era chairs that were in the ring. And then out of nowhere, the long chain that Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne kept playing with the submissions. But that being said, I feel after a while, the repeated chair shots felt a little tired.
Yeah, it's like you can only do so much as far as how far you can go with a chair shot. And these guys went there. They really did. They went the distance with it. Bless you. But there's not so much that you can do that really makes it fresh. Now, I especially loved the ingenious plan by Adam Cole to bait Ricochet to the top of the cage because he knows Ricochet's high risk, and then fight him up there and then try and shove him off. I thought that was going to end the match. I thought the Undisputed Era is going to cheese this and fucking throw Ricochet over the top. But no. That, whatever.
Why would Undisputed throw Roderick Strong over the top?
Yeah, I know. I made a goof. Thanks. I Michael Cold there.
Yo, no. Corey Graves was goofing all night.
Yep. God, the dunking on Michael Cole. Holy crap, we're going to get there. Moving on. They tried to knock him off. He eventually ends up fighting off both members of the Undisputed Era and delivering this beautiful double front flip. It was just insane.
Are you referring to Ricochet's double moonsault off the top of the cage?
I am indeed. It was gorgeous.
That was definitely beautiful.
Yep.
It was a good match to close out War Games with. Again, War Games keeps bringing War Games keeps setting the bar, or not War Games, NXT keeps setting the bar, and WWE keeps dropping it.
The main roster. Hang on.
I think that was your cue to hit the buttons.
Well, the thing you have to understand about this part is that there are no buttons for this part. We just have to get you back in. Uh-oh. Come on. You're not catching my drift here. There we are. Wait, what? Why are you not on the screw it. Keep going. Okay, so we start out with our tag match, the tag team match.
The beginning.
The beginning. The tag team, the tag team.
Doomed from the beginning.
I feel
terrible.
A, I have a cat. B, I feel so bad, not just for I don't know if it was Lince Dorado or Gran Metalik who took that really nasty Samoan drop, but it did not look pretty. That looked bad. And then Kalisto. Oh my God, what happened to Kalisto? I'm legit concerned he might be injured.
He landed a spot wrong and tweaked his knee, it looked like. So they immediately pulled him out of the match, and the ref let Metalik come in as a replacement for Kalisto. That way they still would have a 10-on-10. First of all, can I just say I completely forgot how long the entrances for each Survivor Series matches, because everyone gets an entrance.
Yeah, no, I forgot, but then again, I had it on, at this point, I had it on 1 1/4 speed. I can catch everything they're saying clearly, and I'm still moving at a pretty good clip. So the entrances didn't really.
So let's go ahead and just go ahead.
I was gonna say the entrances didn't really stick out as anything too bloated.
Look, I pop every time I see that giant eye in the triangle pop up.
I didn't say I didn't say anything about that. I just said it was a thing.
Look, so let's get straight into this. I like that. Look, we already knew that this was going to be rough to get through. The tag team Survivor Series matches are always, I want to say the least important, but they're always the longest. We saw a lot of teams that we don't think as actual competitors in the tag team division. Let's name a couple off. The Revival, they've had their nice little push. They almost beat the B team for the tag team championships. Moving on to the B team, we haven't seen anything from them since they lost the tag team championships. We're only as big as names in this because they won the captain spot. Lucha House Party, I'm not as much as happy as I am to see 205 Live represented on one of the Survivor Series teams. It just didn't feel like it fit. And then we get to the Ascension, who everyone seems to forget were literally the most dominant force on NXT, but when they were called up, they were repackaged as a poor man's Legion of Doom and buried.
Yes. I don't think we're allowed to forget.
Shut up.
I mean, I could, but then again, this would be a boring
my biggest
show.
Match. Shut up. My biggest issue with this match is that there was so much potential in this match, but especially on the Raw side, and Raw doesn't really seem to be giving a crap about their tag team division. There were quite a few botched moments where, like, I thought someone was gonna die.
Yeah.
I think one of those German suplexes from Jesus Christ.
Chad Gable.
Chad Gable.
Dude, I admire the strength. I do, because you had to lift Big E. Do yourself a favor. If
but
you
that
want to
German suplex turned into a neck breaker.
Yeah. But then again, if you look at Rude, I think Rude knew it. Like, Rude saw where this was going and how bad it was going to be, because that was the spot. He knew that he had to be there to do it. But he knew as soon as Gable got like halfway up and couldn't really just smoothly transition into it, he's like, oh my God, this is going to be a train wreck. I don't need to do anything.
No,
I'm just
I thought that
fall
was a
with
highlight of the match.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the German suplex into Bobby Roode neck breaking was a highlight. That wasn't a train wreck. The rest of this match is a train wreck because you have. So SmackDown has 4 relatively strong tag teams in their roster. The Usos, who were the tag team, who were the captains, although you wouldn't have guessed that because the New Day spent 10 minutes introducing everybody. You have Sanity, who were phenomenal on NXT, yet they haven't really gotten a chance to shine on the main roster. And then you have the OGVC, who we have to remember were Raw Tag Champions at one point in time.
The club.
And have been now relegated to, like, not even mid-card, but you don't see them that often. And then they threw the Colognes in.
Oh, you want to talk about people who weren't there who probably should have been? I think we need to start printing missing people's ads for the fucking Fashion Police.
Well, okay, so the Fashion Police aren't on because Tyler Breeze is a singles competitor right now. Fandango has been out for a couple months with double knee surgery.
Ouch. It's been a long while, though. That's all I'm saying.
It is going to be a while still.
Well, SmackDown wins this, and yes, there were a lot of.
Put an asterisk next to that win because they didn't give them that win.
No, it was a lot of clustery, messy kind of middle parts, but it wasn't. I'll say this: all in all, it wasn't bad. Like, I didn't hate it.
Can we go ahead and just move on to one terrible match to a match that could have been amazing, with the exception that we didn't know 3/10 of the people in this match until the kickoff show?
Yeah. We actually get to the legit start of the show. They're starting with the women's 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, which kudos to them for picking the right spot for this. But that crowd ate Nia Jax alive.
Well, what do you expect? She's been all over the wrestling rumor. She's a quote-unquote unsafe person to work with. Chris Jericho's even come out to remind all of the wrestlers that this is a work. You're not actually supposed to be injuring people.
Yeah.
That was a direct shot at Nia and the Becky situation.
You want to talk about shit that's pissed me off in WWE's decision making? How about the fact that they've had her on social media with the hashtag #facebreaker, and she's been, brandishing that fist. It's like, no, you shouldn't be leaning into this. This is not something you lean into.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Passionate.
Yes, Nia Jax nuclear heat walking into the Staples Center because of the facebreaker thing. I don't know how I feel about WWE. With all of the heat she's getting, I don't know if WWE really should have made her the sole survivor.
Oh, hell no. I thought you want to make a good match, you want to finish out.
I had a prediction for a sole survivor, but she got kicked out of the match.
Yeah. for me, I think the better Soul Survivor would have been Asuka. You want to revitalize
but she
Asuka
was Soul
again?
Survivor last year.
It would have rebuilt her, because right now the state she's in, her career, it's not good. You want to rebuild that?
I'm going to disagree with that.
Okay, I will amend that statement. You don't need to make Asuka the sole survivor, but if she would have pinned Nia Jax or made Nia Jax tap out, that would have rebuilt her career right there. Instant win. Doesn't matter if SmackDown wins or not. If she would have beat Nia Jax, that is a top-tier placement. That is somebody who's going to be challenging Becky Lynch once she's fully recovered. Guaranteed.
They have to get Nia Jax on SmackDown or Becky Lynch on Raw to do that.
No. I'm saying had Asuka beat Nia Jax, she'd be number one contender. That's how I would have seen
it. Agree to disagree. Put a pin in it. We'll come back to it later. Again, this whole match goes back to Nia Jax because nuclear heat from the beginning. I mean, good God. And anybody who started attacking Nia immediately became a hero. Yep. Prime example, Asuka just going to town on Nia when neither of them are actually the legal ladies in the ring. I mean, there's a couple good little stories in this match. Mandy Rose ends up being the 5th member of Team SmackDown, and everyone immediately hates her for it. We see Sasha tap her out, which kind of in my head was almost like a shade throw at Corey Graves, because we know how much Corey loves Mandy Rose and how much he hates Sasha Banks. So for the fact that his most hated in-ring performer tapped out his favorite in-ring performer almost. Speaking of Sasha, though, because she wasn't originally in the match, prior to the show, so pre-show, we see and Natalya get into a brawl during the pre-show, to which Alexa then throws both the women off the team and asks Sasha and Bayley to join.
Yep.
I want you to talk because I've a lot of this conversation.
Yeah, well, Sasha and Bayley then turn around and say, you know what? We don't like any of you. We do not want to do this. But because of what SmackDown did with the invading last week, we are going to join you. But after this, we're coming after you all. And personally, I want to see some dag nasty backstage post-match beatdowns with weapons kind of attacks by Sasha Banks and Bayley. I think it'd be great.
I only have one more thing to say. So obviously, I just realized we didn't actually say who won any of our NXT matches.
I thought we did.
I didn't hear it, but you've also been periodically roboting out. In the end, Raw does end up winning. I believe, was it Nia pinned Asuka?
Mm-hmm.
For the finish, but Carmella's moonwalk DDT, that needs to become a finisher because I could watch that for a year.
Yeah, it won't close out a match, but it's definitely something to watch, and I like it. It was very nice. Moving on, we had the match. I don't think we can avoid talking about other things. Authors of Pain with DM.
Whoa. Is this notes wrong? Because I thought that it was the mid-cards next.
It might be. I've had a very
Because
long day.
this is where we first see he who should not be named in the second row.
I didn't really see him, but okay.
He was sitting behind the long-haired fan that's always in the front row at every pay-per-view.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about this damn good match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins with a surprising lack of Dean Ambrose. I thought Dean Ambrose would show up at the end to beat the shit out of Rollins, but no. Instead, we get the Architect versus Shinsuke Nakamura, the King of Strong Style, and this was a damn good match. I was really happy that these guys got to go.
The only issues I had with this match were the shirts.
Okay, Shinsuke coming out in the SmackDown shirt with, blue everywhere. It's like, okay, no, whatever you want to do, dude, you are you. You want to come out in all blue and you want to come out, repping the SmackDown shirt, fine. I don't care.
I don't think they gave them a choice.
I was going to say, I don't think you should be wearing the long sleeve under the shirt, but you do you, dude. You could kick me in the face and I'd lose teeth. I ain't going to stop you.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins.
I don't think they...
God fucking damn you, Seth Rollins. I love you. Stop wearing half a shirt.
Please wear half a shirt. Just half a shirt, not the other half of the shirt.
I amend my previous statement to agree with you.
Look, again, the match was great despite the t-shirts.
I can't stand that he does that, though. Every fucking year he's on Survivor Series, he wears half of a Raw shirt and half of whatever shirt he's fucking trying to hawk. Dude, pick one. Pick the right one.
Look, I'm okay with it because it makes him look a little bit more individual. I think based on our predictions, I can tell both of us were really hoping Shinsuke was going to win this.
He needed it.
One, just because Raw is in the middle of a clean sweep, and Seth doesn't need the win because he's got Dean to deal with, which, again, where was Dean? Why wasn't he out there to distract him or something?
Yeah.
But even without these expected interferences, this was still a good match.
Yep. Very good.
But, again, the results of these matches and the Survivor Series pay-per-view in general don't mean anything.
That's true. Maybe that's why he didn't do it. It was like, okay, we're just going to go non-canon on this one, so fuck it. Let's go camp.
But in the end, Rollins won with a curb stomp, a.k.a. the blackout, a.k.a. the stomp, a.k.a. the curb stomp, pinning Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, I think you said curb stomp twice.
That was intentional.
Yeah, it was still a damn good match between two really great competitors. I especially liked how at the beginning when Shinsuke did his usual, come on, not like 30 seconds later, fucking Rollins does it back. It's like,
oh yeah,
oh, that's great. And then he got up on the turnbuckle and was just like laying sideways like he's trying to catch a fucking tan. Like, come on, dude. I got all day. It was beautiful. Thank God.
So let's move on to a match that was... Yes, but let's move on to a match that was overshadowed by two very big things.
Oh.
A, Enzo Amore, mentioned before that we saw him on Hardcam, decided that during the international announce team introductions was going to stand up on his chair in the second row and start touting about bada bing, bada boom, realest champ in the room. This was obvious. Like, he just released an album. This was him getting media coverage.
Yeah, this was him trying
and then
to stay
B,
relevant.
this match was... Yes, and then B, the match was also shadowed.
I mean, there's a
by
slip
Drake
for you.
Maverick pissing his pants call it a misdirection or call it a piss direction.
You
I
cannot.
really wish I could see your face.
Yeah, you can't see how hard I'm face palming.
Look, but
okay, here's
with
the
the
thing.
quote unquote piss.
No. Here's the thing. This didn't need to be a thing. On one hand, the Big Show is a massive guy. He can be very scary. He can be very intimidating. I understand that. I'm standing 6 feet tall, and he would make me have jello legs if I didn't know he was also a comedian. So I tell him a good joke, and I get away with it. That's how I survive. But Drake fucking Maverick has been in the ring with people that are twice his size before. So for him to be in face to face with the Big Show,
okay, but Big Show was 3 times his size.
He's backed by the authors of Pain. How is he not?
Who were in the ring dealing with Sheamus and Cesaro?
Yeah, it's like, how do you not know? Like, you could yell over your shoulder and they would try and get over to you, you know? But look, God, that's why would they embarrass him like that? That's my smart question.
They're gonna get rid of him.
For what?
So the only other thing I could think of is during pre-show, Drake Maverick did come out to the pre-show panel and say that he's not afraid of Big Show. I think having him quote unquote pee his pants was just kind of to contradict what he said on pre-show. It was a funny little moment. I mean, Big Show thought it was funny. You heard him laugh as he walked away. Yeah. But I think what let's just go through this match real quick, because in the end, the piss direction is what helped AOP pick up this very uneventful win. And again, I just said in the previous match, these matches might not mean much, but it was still a good showing for the newly crowned tag team champions. And even though these matches don't mean much, you also have to think within the last 2 years that we've been doing Survivor Series, the brands have been tied in points leading up to the final match. So why does SmackDown have 0 points and they don't let the kickoff match count? I know we're getting back to this kickoff match because I refuse to say clean sweep without an asterisk next to it.
You're not wrong.
Also, I know I thought that the peeing the pants thing was a little funny, but that was an uncomfortable amount of camera time
on his
directed
crotch.
Towards his crotch.
Yeah, no.
Can we move on to the second greatest match of the night?
Fucking please.
Because this was the first match to get a "This is awesome" chant.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, NXT gets one of those every match.
Well, here's the thing, and one of the things I really like. When you take it in the broader, outside-looking-in context, yes, a lot of people who know about Survivor Series may only watch once or twice a year. They'll watch Rumble, they'll watch Survivor Series, they'll watch WrestleMania. And then
they'll watch the big 4 or 5.
Yeah. To have a great showing by Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy in this absolute barn burner in the middle of a goddamn tundra of a pay-per-view. Let's be honest. This showcased 205 Live's talent. Just straight out did. And gave the guys that are on the commentary the chance to call their superstars. And you had chants of 205 in the crowd. People started chanting 205. And it's like, yes.
Do you know how happy that made me?
It made me immensely
You should know
happy.
Out of everybody how happy that made me.
Oh, it was
because
the best.
Even though this was not the outcome I wanted, because I am such a huge Mustafa Ali fan and I've been pulling from him since the beginning. These guys put everything on the line for this match.
Oh.
This had a lot of amazing, dangerous spots. It was another amazing match between the two of these. And like all other 205 Live matches, it got buried in the card, this time between a man peeing himself and some stupid Survivor Series matches that we don't care about. Well, however, in the fantastical, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you're not wrong that it did get a little buried by booking, in that it was put behind the tag match. In my mind, actually, it saved this pay-per-view from being entirely about that. It changed the direction.
You stopped me before I was able to finish that sentence. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, feel free, because I mean, it changed the direction and the feel. It brought it back to, this is serious.
Yeah, this match brought the crowd back to life and gave them that breath of fresh air that they needed in order to get through the second half of the show, because good God, did they need it to get through the second half of the show.
Oh, yeah.
I love my 205 Live Wrestle Boys. The fact that I let you talk so much during this about this match is a little disappointing, because you know how I am about my 205 Live boys.
I do. And you guys can know more if you tune into our show during the week. Got to get the plug in.
You guys, yeah, rip headphone users anytime a 205 Live boy comes on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. We actually have, I've been looking at the views. We've got a lot of views. We only have 2 subscribers.
Us.
So
that's okay.
Everybody that watches, you should also like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things down below, so you can hear us go nuts about 205 Live Wrestle Boys.
All right, shameless plug out of the way. We move on to the men's Survivor Series match. Ooh. At this point, Raw has already won the freaking show.
I was not so much interested in how or in that who was going to win, because you knew, and before going in, you knew. You had to know.
Look, with how much implosion the Raw team had throughout this match, there was no feasible way, in my opinion, that they still could have pulled the win out on this.
I mean, it was exactly what happened at the end that sealed it. It's like, fucking. Okay, let's start with the first instance of that made me go, I know what's going on here. The fact that Samoa Joe lost out as quickly as he did. It was just like, boom.
Yeah, done. And the crowd immediately started chanting bull.
Yep, they instantly started chanting bullshit because it was bullshit.
Look, before you get too far into the match, I want to get back onto that clean sweep thing, because I get that. I can't believe I'm saying this, because Baron Corbin's one of my favorite wrestlers, if you can't tell by the beanie. I get that Baron Corbin promised Steph that Raw would sweep every match in Survivor Series, and that she said if that Raw didn't, he would not become the permanent GM. But does this really mean that Raw has to win every single match? Because by the end of the night, I was really pulling out for Daniel Bryan.
I mean, I was too. I was hoping that the shocking upset of Daniel Bryan, like, we'll get there, that was going to lead to Stephanie going, yeah, you did a great job, except for the Universal Champion, and you already know how much we don't really like Brock Lesnar. He's not very good for business.
Change that. If you're gonna put that name out of Stephanie's mouth, you need to change that name to Daniel Bryan, because Stephanie likes Brock Lesnar a whole hell of a lot more than she likes Daniel Bryan in kayfabe.
Yeah. I mean, she has lambasted Lesnar a lot less than she's roasted Daniel Bryan. But moving on, this match gets the what the fuck were they thinking award of the night with putting Shane to do the elbow drop through the table was a good idea because Shane does shit like that. That's what he's there for. He's a spot monkey. Him getting the
speaking of spot monkeying,
yeah, I was gonna say him getting the coast to coast on Dolph Ziggler. Okay, that made sense because of storyline. Him trying to get the third coast to the third spot, the second coast to coast, and just getting demolished by Braun Strowman. That's the second year in a row he's gone for a coast to coast and just gotten fucked by something. Last year it was Roman Reigns. This year it was Braun Strowman just deciding no to keep Matumbo. Not in my house. Just what? And then
look,
fucking,
I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, on paper, SmackDown wasn't going to win this match. They just didn't have, I don't want to say they didn't have the muscle, but they didn't have the muscle because on paper, you've got Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre, three beasts and two exceptionally fast superstars against what? Shane McMahon, Samoa Joe, who was out instantly, Jeff Hardy, who always gets injured after one of these matches, Rey Mysterio, who was also a spot monkey, and who was the fifth one?
The Miz.
The Miz, who was actually, you know what? I take it back. The Miz was impressive. Him wrestling like a babyface, and to see him participating in every single entrance on his team, that was refreshing to see. But the same as last year, Shane is the last man standing for SmackDown, and he gets eliminated, giving Team Raw the win.
Strowman got 3 eliminations in a row. Just
let's move on to the match of the night.
yeah, I was gonna say that Corbin blasting Strowman across the neck shortly after the end of the match, as Strowman is trying to stand tall and then standing at the top of the ramp with Bobby Lashley, Lio Rush, and just wow, and Drew McIntyre.
I mean, Baron. That I could see why Baron did that, because Strowman's was not allowed to touch Baron until the end of Survivor Series. Baron's going to get that first shot because he knows the second Survivor Series is over, Braun Strowman's coming for him, whether he be in the car, the hotel room, or the bathtub.
Yep. Speaking of, we have Raw just after this show at in about an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yes.
Moving on. Match of the night. Fucking Daniel Bryan.
Match of the night.
Okay. Allow me to extol upon something that occurred to me whilst watching this, but okay, fine. The look upon your face says I should shut the fuck up.
Were you about to move on to the Daniel Bryan match? Because that's not match of the night.
Yeah.
Did you forget about the women?
I didn't consider that match of the night.
Look, man, that was match of the freaking night. Because Charlotte beat Ronda like Becky was going to beat Ronda. Not in a beat as a win, but a beat as in a beat you up.
I think that Becky versus Ronda would have ended up with Becky winning. Because Ronda's already established. For Becky to score a pinfall victory, I didn't say submission, a pinfall victory on Rousey would have elevated her to that rare women's superstar status. Now, see, Rousey already has that. Charlotte already has that. They're both icons of the women's division for WWE. To have Becky already on that edge, and then with her getting busted in the face, that kind of did it for her. But had it not happened, had her invasion and then subsequent beating of Ronda Rousey happened, I would have been entirely pleased.
Can I ask you a question? Are you a fan of the man?
I like to say that...
Because I'm not feeling like you are. The fact that you think Becky Lynch is on the precipice of being amazing instead of being the amazing person she already is.
I didn't say she wasn't amazing. I said she's not quite the legendary superstar that she eventually will be. That is not to say that she doesn't have the...
Right now, before this podcast gets canceled.
She doesn't have...
we gonna fight.
I didn't say she doesn't have the talent. She absolutely does. I didn't say she doesn't have the charisma or the mic skills to do it, which she absolutely does. I'm saying she needs that one moment, that one thing that we all know about her that cements her in our minds. With Charlotte, she has the name. She has the woo. She does what she does, and we know her for that. Ronda Rousey has the armbar. We know her for that. And with this last Monday on Raw, we got Becky 316. That's what we got. That's our memory.
I'm not going to fight over this for the sake of our friendship. Just know I'm a little disappointed in you right now.
You could be as disappointed as you want to. I feel like I'm entirely in the positive because Becky 316 just says I whooped Ronda's ass.
And Becky 316 did whoop Ronda's ass, and Becky 316 would have definitely given Ronda the beating of her life had she been cleared to wrestle. But I think either way, had Becky been in the match or Charlotte been in the match, as much as I wasn't into the DQ finish, it was going to finish the same way. Look, I've always... let me just... I know I said I wasn't going to bring it back up, but you said Charlotte has the woo, and Charlotte has the name. Stop putting Charlotte next to Rick. Charlotte is her own person.
Her entire persona is an echo of Rick.
Oh, I'm about to shut this laptop.
Not to say it's not her own, but it is an echo. You wanna debate?
Moving on, because if we don't make it through this last match, we're not gonna make it through this last match.
I got one last word. WWE 2K19 commercial. Let's move. Charlotte beats the ever-living shit out of Ronda Rousey, though. The blood that she got on her from getting like an elbow to the face, and then
that rivaled Becky on Monday.
It did. And then she goes and picks up a kendo stick and starts beating her relentlessly. And then goes for a chair and puts it around her neck to stomp on it. Charlotte's a heel.
Yeah, I love when WWE tries to make someone a heel and then actually turns them into a babyface. They did it with Becky. They're doing it again with Charlotte. We're going to get it with Bayley and Sasha.
Moving on.
Can we move on to the last match? I'm getting really hungry.
Yeah.
So let me real quick, because I know this was your match of the night, so I'm going to let you talk about this match. Just let me get my blurb out, and then you can have the stage. I don't know how I feel about the heel Daniel Bryan. Only because we haven't had a lot of time to establish Bryan as a heel. The only thing we really have is that he kicked AJ in the balls.
Yeah.
And Brock Lesnar. I don't care that after the 12-minute mark of this match, Brock Lesnar made up for all of the failures he's had as the Universal Champion, past and current. But the first 9 minutes of this match, I was done. I didn't want to watch this because this felt like it was a filler. This felt like they were stalling. The first 9 minutes was the epitome of the reason as to why I cannot stand Brock Lesnar as a champion. It was so incredibly slow. It wasn't competitive. And unfortunately, as I had just said, it didn't get interesting until the 12-minute mark. And at that point, that's when we got a solid match with Daniel Bryan doing his whole underdog rising to the occasion, even though he's a heel. But he's a heel now, so it doesn't have the same effect.
There were but it did. That's the thing.
Just
you heard the chants.
Let me finish this one last blurb. This one last blurb. Granted, there were genuine moments where I really thought, and I think the rest of the world thought, that Bryan was gonna win it, and he didn't. But at the end, we got to feel the spirit of the match. And even though the last third of this match was a ton of fun, it didn't make up for the first 12 minutes of more of the same from Brock Lesnar. Go ahead, get the title off of him, send him off to UFC, call it a day.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know that's why they gave Brock Lesnar this win. They had to. Because Strowman is absolutely going to win when they meet up next. Here's the thing. I think that after the first... We got
a new big man coming in, though.
Say again?
We got a new big man coming to the main roster. We don't know what brand he's going to be on, but he's coming.
I don't think we need to talk about that yet because I don't like it. It's not time.
He's one of your favorites on NXT.
I know, and the main roster ruins every goddamn fucking one that comes up, so I don't want him to go. I want him to stay.
It's definitely not his time to come up because he needs a lot of work on his mic skills.
Oh yeah.
I don't like the intellectual Einstein brain in the body of a monster.
Yeah, no, that gimmick needs to go quickly. And it will. Because he'll be on Raw.
All right, your take.
Give
me your hot take.
When I first saw this match start, I had an idea of what Daniel Bryan was going to do. And that was, I had the feeling that Daniel Bryan was just going to let Brock Lesnar wear himself out. Brock Lesnar didn't go as quickly into wearing himself out as I thought he would. That's what killed it for me. It was the pacing. Like, had he started doing German suplexes and thought that was going to be enough, go for the pin, Daniel Bryan kicks out at 1 or 2, and then he keeps German suplex, throws him outside, Daniel Bryan gets back in, more suplexes, pin attempt, 1, 2, no, and it starts frustrating him, and to the point where he throws Daniel into the corner, and Daniel gets up and smiles at him with that crazy fucking grin he has now. There you go. That's how you build that. You build him as a crazy heel. It'll work. And
we got enough crazy heels we got to deal with.
Oh yeah. And for Daniel Bryan to take advantage of the fact that he A, landed on his feet, and B, hit the ref in the face with his feet inadvertently, to score the low blow, to transition into the rest part of this match, I was okay with it. It's like, okay, it's Brock fucking Lesnar. How the hell else do you expect to beat him? So yeah, use heel tactics. I don't give a shit. Go for it. Fight dirty. It'll be great. Only it took too long to get to that point. And the facial expressions of Paul Heyman were beautiful. I still think that of the 2 Survivor Series matches Brock Lesnar has been involved in, AJ damn sure brought him to a better match. But this was the match of the night.
Okay.
So overall, though, this pay-per-view scores a 4.5 out of 10. I'm not giving this much. It wasn't as good as you should think it should be.
No, and anytime you have to do a pay-per-view after a takeover, you're not going to live up to the hype.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of disappointing. But I want to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share all those wonderful things.